It is Destination Newry. I'm Rowan Hand. This is Feargal McCormack. Interest rates predicted to go up, Feargal, from 0.5 to 0.75 next year in the first quarter of 2015. You predicted it. How serious is it going to be?
Well, I think it's not serious, but I think we have to be aware of it. I mean, we've had low interest rates for a long time. We have to acknowledge that I don't think interest rates are going to jump dramatically. I think that, one has to take it in the round, and the round is that inflation is still keeping relatively low. Wages are not increasing dramatically, which is important from a competitive point of view. In terms of world markets, things seem to be growing. America looks good. Central Europe is growing, and the UK economy looks good. However, we have to be realistic that, as we've said so often, this is quite fragile, and something in Ukraine or even Nigeria, particularly Ukraine in terms of energy costs, could have a dramatic impact on the world economy. But no one is not suggesting at present that all the economic trends are positive, but they're positive in the context that there is still a fair bit of fragility out there, and therefore one needs to be cautious, but equally recognising that if there are good business opportunities out there, this is perhaps the time to go after them.
We had a lad sitting there yesterday, a young man from the Science Park in Belfast, and his job is to interface Northern Ireland inventions and inventiveness with halo capitalists, angels of giving, who want to be investing and doing entrepreneurial things. That's his job, and he's quite optimistic. He feels that we stand on the shoulders of the Fergusons of the past, and that the new era of digital inventiveness is here with us.
Well, there's no doubt about it. By the way, the Halo Business Angel Network, I suspect that's who you were speaking to. Yeah. The chief executive is very good. I'm very familiar with it. We have a number of clients who have used it. And I think there is no doubt that, particularly in Northern Ireland, it's an area we've made great progress in, is encouraging young entrepreneurs to further explore their ideas and see can they move them from the concept of idea into commercial reality with the assistance of business angel funding, etc. I think one is not for one moment doubting that we're going forward in the right way. The challenge is always for us in Northern Ireland, indeed Ireland, will be how do we keep growing that to the level that will create employment as well, because a lot, particularly of the high innovation work at present, is not necessarily labour intensive. So we also have to use technology to create employment opportunities, and that's why the challenge for us is to move people up the value-added chain in terms of education, in terms of skills, in terms of competencies, in terms of exporting, because ultimately, particularly in innovation, as what he was talking about, probably Alan Watts, I suspect.
No, it wasn't Alan. It was another chap.
One of his deputies. But the point I'm making is that the key to them is to create a uniqueness of product or service which will sell beyond these islands.
Beyond these islands, that's your favourite mantra, reaching out and bringing in. You're doing both things. It's a two-way traffic. And I noticed Belfast, the way to Boston, to twin up with Boston. We're going across the world on all kinds of expeditions trying to bring in money and bring in productive employment. Is that the way to go? Do we need to physically get out there and make the new contacts?
Well, any good marketeer or business person will tell you that you don't put all your eggs in one basket, and therefore you must be using a mix of different tools. I think that these things have a role in creating awareness, but ultimately it'll be face-to-face. It'll be the creation of a market need, the provision of a solution to that market need. That's what creates business. So they say it's not the what and the how, it's the why.
The why,
and
indeed.
If you can understand why someone wants it, what is the motivating factor, why they need potentially your product and service, then your product or service comes in to solve a problem, to create a solution.
We're still, is it a month now since we lost Lord Bally Edmund, and maybe a little bit more perhaps. We're still, I just sense we're still in a little bit of shock over that there still is a kind of a numbness in the business community as a consequence of that great loss.
Well, Lord Bally Edmund was a giant among entrepreneurs, a giant among employers. He had built up a good team, like all business people do. But if you lose a leader of the stature of Lord Bally Edmund, no organisation can suffer the shock of that without some interim management issues. But I have no doubt that Norbrook Laboratories is an excellent organisation with a great team, and I believe they will want to honour Lord Bally Edmund and ensure that the great work which he did will continue. And I'm sure Lady Bally Edmund and the hockey family, along with there's a superb management team up there. Indeed, Martin Murdoch, Elizabeth Crumley said, Lillian Crumley, these are all excellent. These are people that are leaders of business in any location.
They would be sought
You get me?
anywhere in
So
the world.
I think that we're very fortunate in this area to have a company of that stature, and I would be hopeful and indeed confident that it will go from strength to strength.
We, the two people you mentioned there, well, no, one of the people, Lady Bally Edmund, and the other was Martin Naughton, mentioned yesterday in the Times.
Martin Murdoch, actually.
No, I know it, but I'm mentioning, I'm saying Martin Naughton.
You were watching the Billionaires.
Yes, the Billionaires yesterday.
Well,
so how significant is all of that, or is it how accurately does it reflect reality?
Well, if you think they're two very interesting people you mentioned, because one often wonders, how do you get to the top in business? I think if one does a bit of research, you'll find that both those individuals, well, be Lord Bally Edmund initially, and Martin Naughton, started off from the very bottom. And it's amazing in one's lifetime that you can go from, reasonably humble.
And a briefcase with a price list.
Well, reasonably humble surroundings to become one of the wealthiest people in the world, perhaps. But I think, Martin Naughton, you've heard me say this before, I think that he is a role model that any young entrepreneur should look any entrepreneur should look at. I mean, his business model is phenomenal. He's gone after brands, he's gone after building management teams, he's gone after innovation, he's gone after technology. But he has gone after a lot of core concepts right along his career. And to think that started with Glen and Newry.
Yeah.
And personally, if you're looking for me to name one of my business heroes, without doubt, Martin Naughton will be there every time. I think I was very honoured to share a board with him for many years, and he chaired. And I have to say he's an inspirational character and a person, perhaps an unsung hero, and does a phenomenal amount of very positive work, him and his wife, Carmel, across particularly education and creativity and science and the arts.
Maybe you'd put some flesh on the bones of the claims that we hear all the time. Those who are going again for the narrow water bridge, they're saying that this will create a complete metamorphosis in the economy of this part of the world. Bridge in, people in, prosperity grow. Is that the formula? Is it that simple? It can't be, surely.
Well, I think anything that creates investment in an area is good. So that's number one. And there's no doubt about the narrow water bridge would add positivity to the area, and that's not in dispute. Obviously, one is always looking at all the alternatives, and the Southern Relief Road in terms of investment, but obviously you're talking 10, 15 times the cost, maybe 20 times the cost, would have opened up considerably more, because it would have opened up the centre of Newry, it would have opened up business, etc. But I think that the people who have been promoting the narrow water bridge deserve great praise for their determination, their persistence, and if any of these projects come off, they can only be for the benefit of the area, and fair play to them.
That's a lovely way to end it. Fair play to them. Feargal McCormack, thank you.
Thank you very much.
God bless you. Go well.
Who can say where